Welcome. I'm AJ, and this is Kingdom Touches. I'm doing this video. It's a start and finish of my process of doing a rhinestone shirt. I have a subscriber that said this would be helpful for her, so here we go. Start out with my image, and usually I'll go straight to the rhinestone. I guess you can call it a module. This is Silhouette Studio Business Edition. So we go through my rhinestone module. I usually start with the size of rhinestones I'm gonna use. 6SS happens to be my favorite. Then I'll go and I'll play with the different patterns of the rhinestones. I'm gonna do a block style. I don't want to do the more curvy style. I do not like a lot of spaces, so I always go with the style that's gonna give me the least amount of spaces. So I didn't, as you saw, doing rhinestones on the butterflies was not going to give me detail that you'll be able to see that they're butterflies. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to trace this out to separate this piece from the rhinestones. I'm being a little bit clumsy with what's going on right now. I'm not going straight to it, but in a minute, I'll get it right. Most likely, like always, I am not doing just one thing. I have something going. I got several screens in front of me, and I've got one thing on one screen, another thing on another screen. It's kind of crazy. I have another program that I use for rhinestones. It's actually more intuitive, in my opinion, than this program. I am using Silhouette because that program is super expensive, and most people don't have it. And I'm not talking about the Rhinestone program from the Rhinestone world. I actually use another program. This is just, I wouldn't consider this video a tutorial. It's more of me going through my process. If there is a need for a tutorial, then I can do so. Just leave me some comments below saying that that's needed, and I'll make it happen. But I'm separating it out because what I've decided to do is I'm going to leave the rhinestones. I'm going to leave the butterflies as vinyl. And I'm going to do the rhinestones with just the ribbon part. So I'm just doing some settings right now. You may not be able to see it on the screen, but there's I didn't actually trace this to get a tracing. I traced it to break it apart. Because of the way this was set up, okay, the way the actual artwork was set up, tracing it was the best way to set it apart, to pull it apart versus making a compound path or any other way. Doing all those other ways would have gave me a bunch of stuff I did not want, and it would have caused me to do a whole lot more steps than I actually wanted to do. So when I get it together, I will erase the background tracing that's on my that's on the mat you see. So I'm using the shift key, and I'm just pressing each butterfly in order to group it together so I can move it out of the way. Now I'm going to highlight the phantom tracing in the back to get it off of the mat. Just to repeat, the hesitation that you all see is because I have several other screens in front of me with different things going on. Alright, so now what I'm going to do is I am going to I've turned it into rhinestones, and there's not a whole lot of gaps, so I'm happy with it. But now I'm going to release the rhinestones, because if you noticed in that picture, I still had a butterfly. So there's several ways that I've got rid of that butterfly. But I thought that the easiest way in this situation was to turn it into rhinestones and just get rid of the rhinestones I did not want. So that's what I'm doing here. Is I'm just getting rid of the rhinestones that I do not want. There's also a faster way that I could have gotten rid of these rhinestones, but in the moment, this is where my brain went. Alright, now we're gonna do a kind of like a test fit of where I want the vinyl part to go. So, right about there. I'm then going to ungroup these butterflies and I'm going to fill them in. I'm going to copy and paste them and put them in different places to make up for the butterfly that I took away in rhinestones. So I'm gonna be adding some butterflies. I'm gonna be moving some stuff around. Just to see how I like it and placement and everything. So I moved it away because I'm grouping the rhinestones together because I don't want anything to happen while I'm messing with the vinyl portion of the design. There were some rhinestones there that were not wanted, so we got rid of them. Now we're going to group all the rhinestones together. This is actually a simple design, and it really does not speak to the regular process I go through, because this design just happened to be easy, and I was happy with how the computer automated and put the rhinestones in. But normally I don't like a lot of spaces, and sometimes when you let the program do it, it gives you spaces. So a lot of my designs that I do a lot of rhinestone moving, adding, taking away, moving them around, especially if I'm using a font that I can't get the detail of the font because of the way the program is automating it. Then I do a lot of moving of rhinestones and things because I want to use that specific font. I don't always want to use a block font because block fonts do look the best. They are the easiest to automatically turn into rhinestones. I don't always want to go with easiest. I want to go with what it is I want and how I want it to look. A lot of times when I'm designing, I design by visualizing the end product. How do I want it to look in the end? And so it's not kind of like a step-by-step thing. It's not like I'm going to just take what's given to me. Like, just because the block font is the best, that doesn't mean that I'm going to settle with it. I'm going to settle with what my vision is. If my vision requires a different font that causes a little more work, then I'm going with the vision most of the time. So this one was an easy one. Again, I can do another one, more than one, of an actual tutorial, or I can do other ones of like when I'm actually moving a bunch of stones and adding a bunch of stones in order to get what it is I'm looking for. But if there is any interest in either kind of those videos, please just leave me some comments below, and like this, I will make it happen. So the other thing is, I'm happy with the way this set up, though it looks like there is a stone that I should have filled in up there closer to the top, well, in the middle of the graphic actually. I'm going to send this to my Cameo 4. As I said, I'm doing this for my subscribers, so I'm going to go through the whole thing. This is flock. I get my flock from Be Createful. I have used cardstock and other things. I've even used jewelry, the padding that goes inside the jewelry drawers, and they work. It's just, I go with, my motto with everything is work smart and not hard. And yes, flock is expensive depending on how you look at it. It's not expensive to me because it is ease of use, so it saves me time. If it saves me time, it saves me money, because I'm in business, time is money. So that's why I just use flock. I am bringing, this is my Cricut. This is Cricut Design Space. And the reason why you're seeing this is because I only use my Cameo 4s, or Cameos, period, for rhinestones. I actually do not, I have tried several times, I do not like cutting from those machines. One, they sound like a machine shop or train wreck or something. They're loud. And I don't like the guessing games that comes with cutting vinyl with the Cameos and having to set the depth and all that other stuff. I don't like that. And I don't have to do that with any of my Cricuts. So what I did was I saved this part, I saved it as an SVG from Silhouette Studio, and I'm bringing it Cricut Design Space. The downfall of Cricut Design Space is they do not bring it into the program the exact same size you save it in. So what I did was I took note of what size it was in Silhouette Studio, and I am plugging in those numbers now. So now it's the same size that it was. So I'm going to highlight that. We're going to attach this and then send it to, actually I think on this one I forget to attach it, so I end up noticing that I forget to attach it, and I'm gonna go back. See, I forgot to attach it, so all the butterflies came in as single elements. So now we're gonna highlight and attach. I don't want to weld, because weld, I don't want to go into that. I'm attaching that way it all stays together and it all goes in together. So just gonna mirror that, and then we're gonna send it to the cutter. Butterflies have been cut. I always cover up my mats right away. I'm a little OCD about things getting on them. So just gonna weed this vinyl part first. And I never have issues with any of my Cricuts cutting. I do keep a ball of foil on the side of my Cricuts to keep my blade sharp, though I have so many blades it's insane. So I don't, I try to be a little more cost effective being in legit business now, because the goal is to make money, not just spend it. Alright, now we're going to bring out the board so we can get ready to place our rhinestones, weed our flock, and all that good stuff. I always cut my flock with the backer on it. The reason I do that is because, again, I have to do things the easiest way as possible for me. It is aggravating. I tried cutting it off the backing once, and trying to get all them little circles off my mat was insanity. I just wanted to throw the mat away. So I cut on the mat. And I've never had an issue with my Cameo cutting my templates. I've never had any problem. It cuts like butter 99.7% of the time. As you can see, I'm going to lift it up initially, but I'm going to put it back down. And the reason why I'm doing this is because, actually, I'm not doing it the way I normally do it, but I am going to, you see all that space that's not used? I'm actually going to cut that space off and put it back on the backing so I can use it for something else. Because like I told you, flock it's not cheap. So I make sure that I reuse what I can. So just taking it off the backing and placing it back down on the board takes just about all of the remaining cut circles out. So yeah, cuts just fine. When you put your flock down, you have to make sure you put it down. You don't want to stretch your circles. But you do want to make sure you got a good stick. So I'm going to cut this extra off the side. And I'm going to place it right back on the backing. See, this video is longer than usual. That's why I don't really keep the process in the videos, because I figured most people don't want to see all of this. If I'm wrong, let me know I'm wrong. But I try not to do the videos this long, but because this particular subscriber said this is what she's needed, then I wanted to do my part in supplying a need. All right. So this is actually just an edge paintbrush. It's a paintbrush that is used to do edges when you're painting. There are a lot of places that market this as a rhinestone brush. It's not a rhinestone brush. It's a paintbrush. You can get these from any place that sells paint. So I am using 6SS rhinestones. These are my favorite rhinestones to use, especially when I'm doing something that has a lot of detail. I think it works best for detailed things. This particular design could have did fine with 10SS, but I will buy 6SS before I buy 10SS. These particular rhinestones I got from Be Createful because I have them in a small batches. Big, large bulk batches, I get my rhinestones from the Baby's Booty, who at time of this recording, and actually at time that this is going to drop, is currently doing a buy-in. So please check her out. The prices are insane. The quality of the stones are insane. You cannot go wrong. Christmas is coming up. The holidays are coming up. You can make a killing with rhinestone things during this time. So just check her out. I will add her in the description, and I'll put a link to her store where you can get the buy-in in the description. And the color of these rhinestones is just simply pink. So now that I've brushed the rhinestones in, I don't know if you notice, when you're doing the rhinestones to brush them in, you go in a circular motion. And the reason you go in a circular motion, the rhinestones, they kind of rub up against each other and they kind of knock each other into the circle. So because I've had some disasters to happen with me knocking my whole template out and all of that. So I usually will clean up my rhinestones before I put it on the transfer tape. And right now I'm just adding, I've got a few missing stones, not very many. I do challenge myself. I am very competitive, and a lot of times I'm competitive with myself, and I will not stop rubbing rhinestones in until every last one is there, because I'm determined that I'm going to get everyone in by brushing them in. Yes, I'm crazy, but yes, that's the competitive nature that I have, that I compete even with myself. I had a little bit of glue on my tweezers, so it was hard for me to get those stones down. So now I'm going to take you through so you can see that every single hole is filled with a rhinestone. All right, now we have some transfer paper. This transfer paper is not the same transfer paper that you use with regular vinyl. So cut it down to size, making sure sometimes in trying to save and not only use what I need, sometimes I'll cut it too short and have to end up wasting because I gotta cut another piece. Well, it's not wasting because it gets used for something else. So kind of dip it in the middle, and then you gotta go straight down. You can't mess around with it because you'll end up messing everything up. So I'll put it down. Sometimes I had a transfer paper that I had before that used to have like static in it, so the stones would jump up on the paper. I changed brands, and this one I do not have an issue with this particular brand that I'm using. So I'm going to take, I don't usually put my rhinestones back on the backing, because usually when I'm doing rhinestones, I already have my heat press heated up and I go straight to the heat press and we put it on. So I don't normally go through the extra step of putting it back on the backing. The reason why I'm doing it right now is because there's a method to my madness. I'm putting this back on the backer because there is a vinyl part to this design, and the vinyl has to go down first. So what I'm doing is I am putting the backer back on so that my rhinestones are not going to touch my t-shirt. I'm also going to cut off the side where the vinyl is going to go in order to make placing easy. And you'll see what I mean once we go to the heat brush. And I'm just cutting off this bottom part because it's sticky and I don't want it sticking to anything. Because as you saw, I didn't quite put it back on the backer straight, but that wasn't important to me. Like most people, you'll see I used the dollar store cutting mats to put my templates on to reuse them. I need to do some sort of better organization of my templates, but not today. So we're at the heat press, and I'm going to place my shirt. I am like a lot of other people on YouTube. I prefer to do rhinestones on black shirts. It's just that black just kind of makes that bling next level. I have done a few on other color shirts, but I don't like them as much as I like them on black shirts. So we're going to get the moisture out. Wasn't very much moisture in this shirt at all, so I'm getting moisture out, but I'm also ironing it in a sense as well. I do iron my shirts before I package them up as well. It's just part of my packaging process. I'm going to use a placement ruler, and I'm more or less using that up. I have several different placement guides I have placement rulers. I have a couple of T-squareds. Sometimes I eyeball it. It's harder to eyeball when, as you can see, the neckline is hanging off of the heat press. So whenever I can't see the neckline, I'm usually going to use some sort of ruler. So I'm lining up the rhinestone part because rhinestone, it's the major part of the design. But I'm just lining it up in order to get the vinyl placement correct. And because it has the backing on it, I don't have to worry about any stones falling off or sticking to my shirt or anything like that. So we're going to press it. I love hot peel vinyl. I can't stand cold peel vinyl. Alright, now we can place the rhinestones where they're supposed to go. I always do a double press. I probably don't need to, but I always do it for my peace of mind. There you have it. That is the end, and that is my process start to finish. Like I said, if you want to see an actual tutorial or actually more in-depth process, comment down below. Thank you for watching.